Hello, Simmers. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are back. We are back. We are back. We are not back in The Sims 4, however. And I know you've seen the title. Therefore, you know I am here to talk about a new game, a new life simulator. It is called Life by You. It is coming from Paradox. And I just wanted to spend a little bit more time on my channel talking about it because I have not stopped thinking about it since the first trailer came out. I got a little something special for you guys today. I want you to see. I've been scouring the internet trying to find any information I can. And I don't mind helping out new channels because we are all new at one point. And we have a YouTuber who has put out a video and he has done a very good deep dive. And I just want you guys to see who this YouTuber is and to hear what he has to say. And so I'm just going to throw that on for you real quick. And I hope you enjoy. And then I'll come back and finish my stream.
Everybody knows that EA ruled the life simulation genre ever since the release of The Sims 1 back in 2000. All of the 4 games of the franchise were a tremendous success, but The Sims 4 is achieving another level. Not critically, but financially.
But financially. This game is over $1,000 if you are someone who wanted the full experience and you purchased every pack like I have. I'm not happy to say that I've spent over $1,000 for a video game. I don't want to say it's embarrassing because technically I have spent this amount of money over the course of a decade. So when you look at it that way, it doesn't sound as bad. But at the same time, EA has milked its customer dry, okay? And I don't know about you, but I'm a little tired of it.
But how could a successful game like The Sims fall down? Now we are starting to see a thing called competition. We have games like Paralives and the recent announcement, Life by You, being produced. And one of these games is not being produced by a small company. Paradox is a really big company which has some lore with EA. And before I explain how Life by You could take The Sims' place, I'm going to explain the lore between EA and Paradox.
Now, before he jumps into the lore between EA and Paradox, I would like to change his word from lore to tea, okay? He has some tea on the history. I guess that would be lore, but definitely the history between Paradox and EA, and he's going to tell you what that is. I already know what it is, but some of you may not know. So let's let him explain what the history is between EA and Paradox.
Back then, EA used to have one of the most famous games about building cities, which was SimCity, critical acclaimed game, and the majority of Sims players loved to play that game. But in 2013, EA had the excellent idea of making the game multiplayer only. The servers of the game just couldn't handle, and the game completely crashed. You couldn't play the game was unplayable, the loading screens were huge, you had to wait a lot, and when you entered the game was completely laggy. The single player version only came out months after the game was released, so everything was lost already, and Paradox saw the opportunity to release City Skylines, which is, to this day, the most popular city building game of these days. And this week was announced that City Skylines 2 is in production, just like Life by You.
Now, I just want to stop and jump in here right now because I think this is very important, this part right here. The fact that Paradox decided to announce both games that they're making, both games they announced on the same day at the same event. And the irony behind all of this is the fact that City Skylines 2 is only existing because they beat out EA with SimCity. SimCity decided it was going to go online, mandatory to play the game, and that backfired. It might have been better if their servers had worked and they tested. Tested. Sorry, I got to keep saying that because we are now seeing what their style is, if you will. Their habits, their bad habits have already sunk one game. SimCity used to be the top city building game, but they didn't test. They didn't test their servers, and so it took months before people could even play the game offline. That being said, we now are sitting here while we pour out over $1,000 for The Sims 4, and they're not testing their game enough to where when they launch their packs, their expansion packs, their DLC, we find that they are pretty much non-functional. My Wedding Stories was pretty much the tipping point for a lot of players, and that history is repeating itself. The history they had in SimCity of not testing their games before they pushed them out to start collecting money, it came back to sink their game. And now they're doing it again with Sims 4. I don't know what's going to happen with Sims 5. I even feel like, I don't want to say they rushed to announce Sims 5. I'm still baffled at the fact that Sims 5, after 10 years nearly of time to develop Sims 5, they're really just getting started with Sims 5 now, which is baffling. When you think about Sims 1, Sims 2, Sims 3, even Sims 4, all of those games came out, I think, about 4 to 5 years apart. So EA has just taken it for granted that they had no competition, and they did not work or start working on Sims 5 at the same time point that they had all the previous games. They just decided, you know what, we don't have to. We don't have competition. We don't have to rush. And it's not even rushing. It's dedicating enough time to get the next game coming out. But instead they decided, no, we'll just give them watered down packs, which are essentially, they're a ripoff. They really are a ripoff. You're not getting what you're paying for, and even what you're getting is broken. So it's bad enough that the packs are empty and shallow, but they don't even work. They don't even work. So now the irony is that I can't stop laughing. I'm so sorry, but Paradox you would think Paradox taught them a lesson with SimCity, because they totally took over that genre. And now the exact same company, this is the part that makes me laugh. If it was a different company that was going to come over and take over the life simulation genre, then, it wouldn't be so hilarious. But the fact that it's this company, it's Paradox, who took over SimCity, it stomped SimCity into submission. Okay, goodbye. You don't exist anymore. Now we're going to come back and do it again with a life simulator. But let this video play, because we have a lot more to go over today.
As we can tell, The Sims is not on its best moment. We had historical games like The Sims 2, and The Sims 3, and we had the first Sims game who regressed, which was The Sims 4. The Sims 2 was a complete gameplay-wise advance from The Sims 1. The Sims
Love The Sims 2. Sorry, just have to throw that in there. The deepest game you will have. And if you didn't have the opportunity to play with it, I am so sorry. I know it's kind of hard to find it or download it because EA won't sell it anymore. And I wonder why. Could it be because it would be direct competition with The Sims 4, possibly even The Sims 5? They don't want to compete against Will Wright's version of the game.
Sims 2 had wants and fears and individual personalities, which made the game unique. And The Sims 3 was a whole new level. Open worlds, color wheels. But because The Sims 4 was rushed in the release, the game lacks a lot of features that were loved in other games like Memories, which are now being introduced by the Growing Together pack, but still you have to pay $40 to have basic live simulation features. in your game, which I find it stupid. The full Sims 4 experience is costing over $1,000, which is completely insane. So I think it's a perfect moment to have competition. And I don't think EA is ready to lose The Sims, which is one of the best selling games of all time. But how could Life by You take The Sims' place? It's easy. A lot of old Simmers are really mad at EA because they took a lot of loved features, and it's a perfect opportunity to make a game with those features and release it to the market, so the old simmers will love to play it and the old simmers will influence the new simmers to play the game, which at the end of the day will lead into Sims 4 downfall. If you think
Which at the end of the day will lead into EA's downfall. He's not wrong. Social media today has done two things. Number one, it's given free advertisement for companies. So EA heavily weighs on these big YouTubers who have a large following, not my little tiny channel, but for these big YouTubers who have a large following, they give free advertisement for their company. However, they do not work for EA. So what is going to happen when a new game steps into the light? And it is another life simulator, which is what their channels are based on. It is going to give that advertisement to the next game. And EA is the one who's going to have to sit back and look at their beautiful pile of money start to disappear.
now we don't have other option than The Sims in the simulation market. If you want to play a simulation game, you only have The Sims 3 and The Sims 4 because The Sims 1 and 2 legally are not available to purchase. So I think it's really nice to have competition, because if we have competition, companies will start to make a better work because they don't want to lose their spot, or they want to grow and get more players. Let's be honest, The Sims 4 is not a very good game. It misses the spark that the other Sims games have, like The Sims 2 and The Sims 3 and The Sims 1. The Sims 4 is a lifeless game where you feel like you're living in a cardboard dream where you are the main character. That's not funny. In The Sims 2, I felt like all the Sims were crazy and had their own stories. In The Sims 3, I felt like I was living in a life city. While in Sims 4, I feel like I'm living in a box.
I have to agree with him. When I play The Sims 2, I feel like all the characters are affected by every little thing that happens. And they have a memory system. So even if, something happened at one location, that information actually gets spread. They literally have the capability of talking about it, even though it's in their own household. What do I mean? There's a simulation that's going on when you first start Mortimer Goff's house. Mortimer Goff is Cassandra Goff's father. Mortimer Goff is in a relationship, or he will be when you play it out. He's in a relationship with one of the Caliente sisters. But that Caliente sister is also how do you say? She's not just seeing him. Okay, Don Lothario is engaged to Cassandra at the beginning of The Sims 2. And before I get into a whole long drug out story about that, the point is, if one of the family members catches the other person, let's take the Caliente sister for example. If she catches her having an affair at the mall, she sees it, she can go back and tell that information to her father. This is not you playing her. This is autonomous. This is autonomous behavior in The Sims 2. It's such a deep game. This is why I always felt like The Sims 2 Sims were alive, because their AI was so much deeper than what we have in The Sims 4. In The Sims 4, nothing happens, and even if you force it to, they don't retain the information. Even when we got sentiments are on a timer. They don't last forever. They don't have true memories. So nothing really matters in The Sims 4.
No interactions. If you want to visit your neighbor, you have to pass through a loading screen. If these games come with features like open worlds, traits, wants and fears, in their own way obviously because they're different games, I think that The Sims will wake up and start to make a good game like they did with The Sims 2, and 3. So having competition is not negative, it is just positive. And at the stage that The Sims 4 is right now, having competition is really necessary, because paying $1,000 in a game, it's really not good. And we can see the effects on this competition already. If you look at the Sims 5 preview, which was published by EA in the Sims Summit livestream, you can see that the game has a lot of features that Paralives announced before they started developing the Sims 5. So you can see that EA is starting to open their eyes and make a better game. The Sims 4 has improved a lot, but it still has a lot to improve, and I don't think it's going to improve until the release of The Sims 5. I think that they will just ignore it like they did with The Sims 3 when it completely broke down with Alan.
I want to say about The Sims 5, the one thing that kind of set me off is the fact that a lot of us players that are original players of The Sims 1, 2, and 3, our biggest gripe, at least for me and for the community that I hang out with, if you will, we want gameplay. Gameplay. It seems as though Sims 4 focuses mostly on building. All the packs that get put out are build packs. Now we have kits, and because EA either couldn't or wouldn't take the time to learn how to add gameplay, they just decided to ditch that idea altogether, and instead they decided we're just going to focus on building. That's what they feel they're probably good at, and then that's all they're going to do. And I don't have a problem with that. Where I have a problem is that you still call yourself a life simulator. I don't understand how they still get to use the genre of life simulator when they should just accept what they are. They are a build simulator, and they probably would get less, I guess, hate, less, negative feedback if that's what they were selling. But you can't come out here and say you're selling a life simulator and exploit the title of The Sims, because it's in the title, The Sims, and yet your game is not focused on The Sims. It's focused on build mode. Now we're looking at Sims 5 coming out, and what do they show? They don't show you one sim, not one. It's called The Sims, and they don't show you one sim, not one. They only show you building, and that right there is why I am hoping this next game is really going to take us back to what The Sims was about, and get away from all of this building. It's not to say I don't like building, but it should not be the focal point of a game that calls itself a life simulator.
In Paradise. And this is my opinion on Life by You. By the preview, I think it's going to be a good game. But will it take The Sims place? I hope from the bottom of my heart that EA wakes up and give us a good game. So that's it for the video. If you want a video explaining what happened to Project Olympus, I will consider doing it. So leave a like, subscribe my channel, and goodbye.
Alright, so I just wanted to, give him some credit for his video. This is Deemer. I think that might be how you pronounce it. But yeah, that was great. I'm going to change my screen real quick here because I got some photos set aside for you. All right, and then we're going to talk about what we see in the trailer. The trailer to me looks really good. I'm going to actually let it run in the background real quick here. But the trailer looks really, really good to me. And I am looking so forward to this coming out. The only thing that I'm concerned with is the timing. I would like to know if this is going to come out this year. If it's going to come out in 2023, I don't know, guys. I don't know how I'm going to contain my excitement. I am planning to do a live stream, a live reaction to the announcement trailer that comes out. And I'm going to warn you now that don't wear headphones. Do not wear headphones if you're coming to watch me live stream this particular trailer, because I can tell you now, if I find out that my wishes are coming true with this new game, I'm probably going to scream. So you're probably like wondering, what are my wishes for the new game? Well, first of all, I'm wishing that it comes out in 2023. Right off the bat, that's the most important thing to me right now, is knowing that this isn't going to be another Paralives or, any of these other, mentions of a game that possibly might come out and they don't give you a date, or I keep hearing people say, oh, they're years away from fully developing it. Even Sims 5 right now, they claim that there's still going to be years to come before it comes out, which I do not understand why they waited until now to start building it when you've already milked The Sims 4 for basically 10 years. You've already made the game last twice as long as any of the other versions of the game. So I don't know why they're just getting started with The Sims 5, and it's going to take them even longer to push that game out. But that's not what we're talking about today, because I'm ready to leave EA. I'm ready to give my money to someone else because EA has taken advantage of its customers. And I'm ready to go to this company, but the reason why I feel so confident about this company is for two reasons. One, Paradox. Paradox has already proven itself that they can do the job, and they can do the job well. Okay, they already took over SimCity and came out with City Skylines, and now they're even advertising City Skylines 2, which I remind you, again, at the same event, they introduced SimCity 2. This is where Life by You got announced. So I don't know. I don't think that was a coincidence. Now, what's another thing that will make me scream with excitement? It's what I've just mentioned. The fact that I don't think it's a coincidence that they are announcing this game at the same time that they're announcing SimCity 2. And what I mean by that is, if you are a Sims 2 player, or if you were a Sims 2 player, then you are well aware that SimCity and Sims 2 worked together. What do I mean by that? If you had SimCity, you were able to build maps and then put them into Sims 2, if I'm not mistaken. So those two games were two separate games, but you were able to build a map and then download it into The Sims 2. So the fact that City Skylines took over SimCity, and now they're announcing a city builder at the same time as a life simulator. And right here, I want to pause. If you notice, it says Rod Humble. Rod Humble was the executive producer on Sims 2. Yeah, he worked for EA. Well, I guess at the time it would have been Maxis. But the point is now he is working with Paradox, and he wants to bring back what we used to have, which was a real true life simulator. So I am going to be screaming if two things happen. First of all, on March 20th, when we watch the trailer, if they show that this game is launching in 2023, I'm going to scream. Do not have your headphones on. You have been warned. Second reason I will scream is if we find out City Skylines 2 is going to work the same way SimCity did, that you can make a map in one game and download it into Life by You. That will be another reason for me to scream. There's a lot of reasons for me to scream with excitement, but those two reasons, I'm just warning you now, make sure you don't have headphones on, because I'm not going to be able to contain my excitement. The next thing is, let's see, I'm going to go and switch over to my photos, because what I have for you guys, let me pause here. What I have for you guys is I put aside a couple of photos to discuss where we could zoom in and look at the details. So this is what you have on your screen, is just the intro. And right away, you can already see right away, you can already see, sorry, you guys know how my phone always rings when I'm trying to stream. I do apologize. All right, so on this very first photo, you guys should be able to see everything I'm doing. If it's not working right, I do apologize. Okay, there we go. All right. So first thing I want to point out is right here on the side, we got yoga coming, guys. Yoga. This came with Spa Day. So already they're showing you things that will come with the game right at launch. So we've got yoga coming right away. Then I want to take a peek over here to the left side of the map. I don't know if anybody's taken the time to break down the images, but are those apartments? Because to me, those look like those could be apartment buildings. I don't know, guys. I don't know, guys. Right from the beginning of the trailer, you can tell that it's going to be open world. In the background is the water. Now, I might be reading too much into it, but I don't think that I am. I think that they are showing this person walking in the video, and she's walking towards the water. And when you get finished with all of the photos, or when you're finished with looking at the video, that's where you end up, is at the water. Here you can see. You end up down here at the beach. I am just so excited to see what is coming with this game. Now right here, I just want to point out, that's a car dealership. That sign on the building is for a car dealership. We have motorcycles, we have cars, we have buses. We've even got a four-wheeler. I don't know if you see the little red four-wheeler right there. There's a four-wheeler. Okay? There's a four-wheeler. I'm almost speechless. The next image, we just get to zoom in a little bit more on the public transportation. So there is a bus, and I don't see the driver, but I don't need to see the driver. Yes, you can see the driver in Sims 2, but you don't see him in this image. I'm not saying you won't later. I feel like this is very, very early footage, but they may have done that for a reason, so not to show off too much before March 20th. I don't think that they would just give us the date March 20th for more information without planning to have a lot more to show. So I think they intentionally showed us very, very early imagery, very, very early footage of the game, so that you get that wow factor when we get to March 20th. That's what I'm thinking. Now here you get to see actual Sims. So they've been working on this game obviously a lot longer than The Sims 5 has been in production, because they've even got their Sims in the game already. So while EA is over there sleeping and just collecting their gold, Paralives has been working quietly. And that's just the way I like to see games made. And I said Paralives, I apologize. I meant to say Life by You. Life by You has been working quietly in the background. And that's the way I like to see it, because like I say, I don't want to be advertised to years before something comes out. I want to be advertised to, if I have my way, I don't want to wait more than a month. I don't want to wait more than 2 weeks. So March 20th will be a very exciting day for me if we find out that that game is ready to launch, because City Skylines just got announced on the same day as this game. And City Skylines is already advertising that it's coming out in 2023. So I will not be surprised at all if this game is going to be coming out in 2023 as well. I am very excited to see what we're going to be getting March 20th. Now, I did take a couple of quick snapshots of this, and I don't know if everybody's noticed, but you can see on top of the house, you can see the person's name. So it's Cornelia McKenzie. Girl, I can't read. Cornelia McKenzie's house. And this is important because we're going to see it again. And I don't think anybody else has noticed, but we're going to see it again. I like this image because it shows you how you can move the lot. I think that's what these blue arrows are for, that you can move it left, right, forwards, backwards, and you can even pull it off the grid here. So you probably, if you didn't want as long of a sidewalk, you can pull it further up. And I want to point out one other thing. Only the OGs are going to recognize what that is on the porch. You see that yellow box with the red ribbon? That's a throwback. That's a throwback to Sims 2. Rod Humble actually has a character in The Sims 2 where he brings you a present when you first move into the home, and it's a new computer, and there's a present on the front porch, which to me means, yeah, we're bringing back The Sims 2, and I am so excited. Over here off to the left, you can see the building tools. So you've got your roof, and we're looking at the roof, and then you've got doors, windows, pillars, and all this such. I'm going to switch the photo, and you'll see how we're not going to be in roof anymore. We're going to go into build the walls. So the roof goes away, and if that was too fast, let me go back. This is lit up green because we're looking at the roof. The next slide, we're not looking at the roof, we're looking at the rooms, and so it changed. Here you can see this roof lit up, probably because you could work on it once your mouse or your cursor lands on it. And then we can see inside the room. I also wanted to point out, it's not really clear here, but that's lattice on the building next to them, which looks really cool, which means they've added a lot of build items into the game already. And this is going to be considered base game. Now let me get to what I found was most exciting. It's right here. You probably don't even see it, but look at the top left of the screen. That's not the same house name. That says Maria Borg's house. Marie Borg's house. So that's the house across the street. I don't know if this game is going to be multiplayer or online, offline, or this or that. But the fact that you can see the names of the houses right here, you definitely know that this game is, in my opinion, pretty fair, pretty well along in development. And you'll easily be able to see whose house is whose just from map view. Cornelia McKenzie's house and Maria Borg's house is across the street. I'm excited, guys. I'm excited, but I'm not going to keep you here for too much longer. Let me go ahead and get through the rest of my screens. What I wanted to point out here were the shadows. I am very excited to see how dark the shadows are under the trees. I don't know if this is going to be the same lighting. If you've been following Paralives, then you can tell how the game had changed quite a bit from early development to where it is today. But I'm hoping that these shadows remain, that this type of lighting is going to be in the game. Again, we will have to wait until March 20th to know that for sure. But I really like how it looks. And then we get to the beach. which to me, again, says it's going to be open world. It's going to be open world. But we will have to wait and see. We will have to wait and see. And then, of course, my last screen, which is to just remind you and announce that it is going to be March 20th, that we have more information. And I can tell you right here, right now, I will be live streaming that. And if this game does come out this year, I don't know how much more gameplay I will have for you from Sims, because once I get my hands on this game, I'm probably going to be playing this exclusively. But we will have to wait and see. I hope to see you all on March 20th. I will be live streaming. And don't forget, turn your volume down, or definitely yank your headphones off at the end of that stream, because you just might have to hear me scream. With joy, of course, with joy. All right, guys, I hope you all have